Hello, K-othic here, and today's Sunday I bring you a new review about the latest release from LETSHUOER. This is LETSHUOER DC4 in a nutshell. These IMs feature 3 dynamic drivers and 1 passive radiator, which I'll talk about later, and they are available for $89. I want to thank the LETSHUOER team for providing me with this product to give a honest review. Now, let's quickly get into the contents of the box. As usual, LETSHUOER presents their products very professionally. Upon opening this box, we find the earphones displayed at the top, and underneath, the case provided with the accessories, which include the cable and a good variety of silicone tips. The IMs have a construction that, in my opinion, perfectly combines sturdiness with lightness. Their body is made of beige colored plastic, which adds a nice touch, and their faceplate is made out of metal with an incision near the middle in the shape of a lightning bolt, allowing you to see the orange semi-open design. The DC4 features 3 titanium dome dynamic drivers, each of 6mm in diameter, along with a passive radiator of the same size, which aims to help generate resonance and achieve a better response in the bass region. Then, the cable is one of my favorite accessories. Having already reviewed the LETSHUOER S12 Pro, I found that this cable is much lighter and more comfortable to use. It has a 0.78mm dual pin connection with a 3.5mm termination, and the cable itself is made of silver-plated copper with 4 cores and 216 strands. Next, the silicone tips are of remarkable quality. LETSHUOER offers us 6 pairs with 2 different varieties. 3 pairs of vocal tips with a narrow bore, and 3 pairs of balanced tips with a standard bore. The last accessory is the case, made of plastic coated with rubber, which has a good internal size to accommodate the IMs with their cable and a few other small accessories. In my opinion, it would have been good if it had better interior padding, but that's really my only criticism in this regard. Moving on, regarding comfort, the DC4 provides an acceptable experience thanks to being lightweight and offers a proper ear seal with a good variety of tips included. So, we've seen all the details and accessories. Now, let's get to the important part, how the LETSHUOER DC4 sound. LETSHUOER opted for a balanced or neutral sound signature. DC4's tuning emphasizes the sub-bass and appears slightly forward in the upper mid-range. As always, I divide the bass section into sub-bass and bass. The sub-bass exhibits good rumble and definition, making it fully compatible with electronic music genres and subgenres. Meanwhile, the bass is lighter and quicker, and in my experience, some may find themselves wishing for a bit more punch in this area. Overall, I found them enjoyable, and despite the lack of bass impact, I noticed that this provides the benefit of a cleaner transitions towards the mix. Continuing with the mid-range, the DC4 seeks to reproduce this frequency quite neutrally and stay true to the real timbre of sounds. Female vocals with high registers shine more than male vocals, but both are presented naturally. When listening to orchestras, wind instruments have more body than string instruments, but in genres like rock or heavy metal, electric guitars take the lead, making a strong presence and displaying an admirable amount of detail. Then, the treble is dark compared to several models I've tried before. It doesn't highlight the details. Instead, it aims to be as non-fatiguing as possible to the ear. At the same time, the timbre is somewhat peculiar, taking away some brightness and causing cymbal crashes and bell sounds not to sound satisfying and fade away quickly. Speaking of soundstage and imaging, the soundstage provided by DC4 is pleasant, giving a good sense of width and depth. However, the imaging is somewhat diffuse because the instrument separation feels compressed in this pair of earphones. Before concluding this segment, I wanted to make a quick comparison against the 7Hz Sonos Zero, as both IMs have a very similar sound signature. In summary, the DC4 has better definition and deeper sub-bass feeling in this region, but both IMs suffer from a lack of bass for my taste. The mid-range in both is almost identical, with just a bit more warmth in the DC4 when reproducing sounds in the upper mid-range. Finally, the treble is brighter and more detailed in the Zero, while the DC4 presented as darker and more laid back. The soundstage of both earphones is similar, with the Zero having a greater depth, while the imaging is slightly clearer in the DC4. Overall, it seems that LETSHUOER is making a strong entry into the budget segment if they provide more products like this. Personally, the tuning of the DC4 comes quite close to my sound preferences, except for some shortcomings in the bass and the darkish treble. However, I find them to be IMs with impeccable build and accessories, offering sound with great adaptability to the various genres I listen, and that's why I give this model a 4-star rating. Thank you very much for sticking around until the end, and I hope this review has been helpful to you. In the description you can find my detailed written review about the DC4 if you're interested in knowing a bit more about this model. I'll see you next Sunday with more audio reviews. See ya!